The 2024 season is on the horizon. The new era begins. Welcome to Buffalo Against the World.
This is Buffalo Against the World Sports Talk with Kulu and
Cousin Brad.
Bills Mafia. It's our time.
Act like you know, baby.
Act like you know.
Yeah, it's your boy Kulu, and we are back, Buffalo Against the World. We had a 3-week vacation, me and Cousin Brad, and we feeling good, feeling real lovely. And we are presented by Monster Energy Drink, the official energy partner of the Built in Buffalo platform, who brings you Buffalo Against the World. And with me, as always, my partner, my cuz old Brad. What's going on, cuz? How was your vacation?
What is going on? What's going on? Thank you very much. Vacation was great. Thank you very much for Monster Energy for supporting Buffalo Against the World and Built in Buffalo platform. I'm back, baby. We good. We ready to rock and roll, baby. Let's go.
Yes, sir. A lot to talk about today.
Tons.
It's on the horizon.
Mm-hmm.
The new Josh Allen offense that we heard Joe Brady talking about, that we talked about a little bit 3 weeks ago.
Yeah,
man, we got so much to talk about. But first, before we do that, as we always do, we got to go around the league. Cousin Brad,
we are going around the league. Before we start off and go around the league, first off, we want to give a special shout out. This is actually some sad news out of Minnesota. Minnesota Vikings 4th-round pick Kyrie Jackson unfortunately passed away in a car crash at the age of 24. Kyrie Jackson never got to play it down in the NFL. He's a 4th-round pick, played ball at Alabama as well as Oregon. But unfortunately, he passed away in a car crash at the age of 24. Thoughts and prayers to the family and friends of that young man and the Minnesota Vikings. Moving on, the NFL reported today that they earned $13 billion in national revenue in the year of 2023. So, I mean, I'm not a mathematician, but the NFL made a lot of money. Long story short, the NFL made a lot of money, and people are very, very rich. So let's just go with that. NFL suspends Steelers cornerback Cameron Sutton for 8 games. Man, the season ain't even start yet. 8 games. Pittsburgh Steelers cornerback Cameron Sutton was suspended 8 games for violating the NFL's personal conduct policy. The league announced that earlier this morning around 9 a.m. He was charged with misconduct and battery. Early in Detroit earlier this year, and this happened around March 31st. So he turned himself into police, and he officially got suspended 8 games for the Steelers. Dallas Cowboys announced that Dak Prescott recently suffered a minor right foot sprain and is temporarily required to wear a walking boot. Source close to ESPN told ESPN that, and he is walking around, should be fine by training camp opening. Just thought all you Cowboys fans out there should know. Rams reached an agreement with free agent safety John Johnson III, bringing him back to Los Angeles for a 3rd time. If y'all didn't know, he's coming back to LA again. And last but certainly not least, husband of U.S. gymnastics star Simone Biles, Jonathan Owens, the Bears have officially given him special permission to attend the Olympics to support his loving wife, Simone Biles. Go for the gold, baby. So shout out to the Bears for doing that, and that is around the league.
All right, man. Definitely on a sad note to the Minnesota Vikings, and just a lot happening in the NFL, and a lot of stuff happened this offseason.
Definitely.
A lot of different players,
so
definitely thoughts and prayers for that young man who lost his life.
Yeah, you got to imagine. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Cousin Brad, the new offense,
the
Josh Allen offense. This is no longer going to be Stephon Diggs having to get the ball anymore. It's going to be a lot of new identities, really an opportunity for these young wide receivers to show what they got. Right. So let's start right there. Let's start with the offense, Cousin Brad, because I'm really excited about Coleman. I'm
Hmm.
hearing good things. I heard good things in minicamp in regards to Chase Claypool.
Right.
Um, it's Do you see a guy, MVS, another one? Do you see a guy like Keon Coleman, this rookie receiver that we believe is going to be very dynamic for this offense? Do you see him stepping into that number 2 role right away? Or do you see the MVSs or the Chase Claypools taking that spot right away?
Well, obviously, Keon Coleman is supposed to be the heir to the throne. He's supposed to guy to give him the car keys and let him drive and see what happens. But I mean, he is a rookie. This is his first year. He has all the tools, all the capability to do that. But I mean, you got some veteran guys on this team: Curtis Samuel, veteran; Chase Claypool, veteran; Marquette. I can't pronounce his name.
MVS.
MVS. We'll go. Yes. Guys like Khalil Shakir, who's been here last year. You got veteran guys in that wide receiver room who can also take the number 2 spot. But I mean, if I'm the Buffalo Bills, let's see what the kid got. Let's see what he's got. Let's throw him out there, see what he's got. I don't think he's going to be the heir of the throne just yet. But Khalil Shakir stepped up in a huge way towards the end of last season, and he'll be coming in this season. So let's see what the kid's got. Let's throw him out there, see what he can do against these NFL talent. Absolutely.
And you know what? And by that, I think Curtis Samuel is your big signing receiver that you got.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's got to be placed at either the 1 or the 2. I
Yeah.
think Shakir really earned it. I think it's his job to lose. I think that number 2 position is his job to lose. Obviously, Coleman's coming in.
Mm-hmm.
He's the 2nd round pick,
Right.
first pick in the draft for the Buffalo Bills.
Right.
But you still gotta know how Sean McDermott wrote. Sean
Yeah.
McDermott does not like to start rookies. And we talked about this last year, unless you're just outstanding.
Mm-hmm.
So if
Or
he
you're
has a
Dalton Kincaid.
well, when you're Dalton to Kincaid, we're gonna talk about the tight ends too. But he usually doesn't like to do that, especially with his defense. So we're talking offense here. So he'll really have to have a strong camp. Claypool, they said he had a really strong mini camp. Now,
Yeah.
I'm really watching.
Yeah.
My eyes are on this guy because it's really a do or die season for him. This is his last shot. I mean, he had that opportunity with Ben Roethlisberger. He had 1,000 yards or close to 1,000 yards, I believe.
Yeah.
The year that he played with Ben. He's now playing with another top 5 quarterback in the NFL.
Correct.
I think this could be what he's been waiting for.
Absolutely.
I wouldn't be surprised if he steps on that field in training camp. He's a guy that I'm going to be really watching to see him dominate. He's also 6'5". He's also 230. These are those big boys that we talked about last year. We would say, we got to get bigger, we got to get stronger, we got to get faster.
Right.
And we have gotten bigger, stronger, and faster on the offensive side of the ball. What's your thoughts?
Absolutely. I mean, a guy like Chase Claypool, I don't really necessarily think this is his make or break season, but I mean, look at the guy. He came in early on, and Pittsburgh made a huge impact on that Pittsburgh offense. Then goes to Chicago, kind of gets caught in the wash. Justin Fields is a rookie guy. They really didn't know what they were doing on offense. And he goes to Miami. He gets lost in the shuffle again, playing with Tua Tagovailoa. I think he had an injury or two when he's with Miami as well. But now he's here. He's got to, it's get in where you fit in. It's an open door policy. Hey, man, you can play. You got cash. You're 6'5". You're 230. Let's see what you got. So I think absolutely it's going to be a redemption season for him. But you mentioned it's Khalil's position to lose. I would stick Khalil with what he's been doing with the slot. He was excellent in the slot last season as a third weapon in the slot guy coming across the middle, make those hard catches. Those guys where they got the double teams and they move them out. They like to split them out wide and run the go routes with them. I would keep him in the middle and let Keon Coleman and Samuel stretch the field. Don't forget about James Cook coming off the backfield and Knox and Kincaid coming across the middle as well. So I think if you're going to do anything with Shakir, let's let him in the slot.
Yeah, and I agree with you there because this is what happened with Gabe Davis, right? As soon as Gabe Davis became the number 2 receiver, we kind of noticed that the drop-off was there. I mean, we looked at that game against Kansas City that we always talked about, Gabe Davis' greatest game of all time in his career.
Yeah.
And we thought automatically because of that game that he needed to be a number 2 receiver, right?
Right, yeah.
The season following, Emmanuel Sanders is gone. He steps into that number two receiver spot. We saw some injuries happen, and he really didn't even look the same, even on until last year. So I agree with you on the strength of letting the guy do what he does best. But here's the problem that we're going to have, Cousin Brad. Stephon Diggs is not there to draw that attention that took a lot of attention away from Khalil Shakir at the time.
True.
So we're going to also have to consider that. And this is where these other guys are going to have to step up. Where does MVS come into play? How are we going to use Curtis Samuel? How are we going to use Keon Coleman? Is he just going to be a red zone threat? How are we going to use Claypool? How are we going to use these other guys? And we're going to talk about how some of these other guys on the depth chart, it's going to be hard to make that receiver position group, Cousin Brad.
True, but at the same time, it kind of gives us an advantage as well. I mean, I know a lot of people are, I don't want to say worried. I would say concerned and eye-opening that Stephon Diggs is gone. But let's not forget, we made the playoffs before without him. I don't know if you guys remember, we had a guy named John Brown and Cole Beasley before Stephon Diggs even got here, made it to the playoffs, as well. And we still got Super 17, and we got a lot of guys that a lot of defenses are going to have to adjust to. So it kind of gives us an advantage to say, okay, they don't have Stephon Diggs anymore. Who's going to be the target we got to focus on? And if I'm a defense, I'm worried about the tight ends and James Cook coming out the backfield. Don't get it twisted. 17 can run anytime, any place, anywhere, any play. So it kind of gives the defense a disadvantage because they don't know where the ball is going to go. So, it gives us an advantage on where we can do and where we can plug guys in. So it's really, to me, it's not a drop-off. It's kind of an advantage if you really think about it.
Yeah, because it's an unknown.
Exactly.
Talking about some of these receivers we got Claypool, we got Coleman, we got Hamler, we got Mac Hollins, another 6'4", 2021, who can
love the hair.
Love him. He can specialize in that special teams, and he's a big physical target that you can ball to. You got Isabella, who we were really high on last year, Xavier Johnson, Lawrence Keys, Curtis Samuel, who we mentioned, Khalil Shakir, Shavers, really like Shavers. And then there's Justin Shorter, who we've been talking a lot about. Justin Shorter,
who made the miracle catch last year. Remember that catch? Remember that catch in Miami? The Globe crowd? Oh, that was so awesome.
Yes.
Do we have Mike McDaniel's face? Do we have that? Do we still have that up? We don't have that. Oh man, I need to print that out.
We'll have that ready for when we play Miami. What's up, Lance? My brother Lance, how you doing, my bro?
What's going on, Lance? Thank you. All is going well.
You know what, Cousin Brad? We got to give a major shout out to DM3, Dave Myers. We got to give a shout out to Hakeem Rickens and Lance Nelson also, man. They made this possible for us to have the energy partner of Monster. This is something that's been in the work for about a year or so, probably longer than that I have knowledge of. And we are so grateful to be on the platform. So, man, big shout out to you, brothers, for
Thank you.
Position. And we are on a whole new wave this year. Yeah. Man, look, man.
Tell Monster to send the merch. Send the Monster merch. I'll wear it. Man. I'll wear it. Send the hats.
It's all coming. It's all in the works. I'm sure the brothers got it all under control. Listen, cuz, who are you excited about in this wide receiver group? And then we're going to move on to tight ends.
All right.
Give me two.
Sorry, you said two.
Your top two that's not hold on, there's a stipulation here.
Oh, yeah.
It's not Keon Coleman. That's not Keon Coleman. That's not Curtis Samuel, and that's not Chase Claypool. Who do you like?
I love I want to see what Khalil Shakir does. I'm definitely amped to see it. He's been working out with the Bills' greatest receiver of all time, Eric Moles. I said it. I don't care. I said it. And I'm excited to see what MVS is going to do. I mean, he's a guy that came from Kansas City. You know, people say he had a little rough patch in there, had a little bit of the droppies, but I'm excited to see what he can do on this football team. Why not bring that experience, that championship pedigree over here? So I'm excited to definitely see what Khalil Shakir is going to do this season. Will he have that breakout Gabe Davis season that he had, or will he beat just another guy that's going to get thrown in the lineup. I think he's going to have a big year this year. I like what I see when it comes to him, and I definitely want to see what MVS does on this football team with Josh Allen throwing on the ball. So definitely.
100% agree with you, Scott. Agree with you also. MVS is exciting. Look, man, me and Hakeem, we was talking about this last year in the BIB group chat. It's time to get bigger, and the Buffalo Bills did exactly that. Brandon Bean, thank you for finally listening to Emmanuel Kulu. We got 6'4".
Really? You taking part of that? You taking credit for that?
I'm taking credit.
Oh, man.
Now, Justin Shorter, I want to see what he's got. There's some other bigger guys now in the receiver room. So my eyes are going to be on him. Shavers had a really, really good training camp last year.
Yeah.
He showed me something, another 6'4" guys. So I'm really going to be watching these bigger guys because these guys can run faster, and they're bigger than a lot of the cornerbacks that are going to be playing against them. So I'm looking forward to seeing those guys. Of course, the main guys, we know our top 6. And trying to make that 7 spot, if we even have a 7 spot at wide receiver, it's going to be really tough. And it's going to come down, Cousin Brad, to who can be flexible playing special teams.
And at that point, you cannot rule out little Andy Isabella. That guy's little, but he's scrappy. I like him. We talked about him last year. I like him. I'm rooting. So Andy Isabella is my dark horse. He's I'm booking it now before we even start training camp. Andy Isabella, my dark horse to make the team at wide receiver.
Absolutely. And he's got the speed. He's got that 4.3 speed that we like.
Yep.
It's going to be bigger, stronger, faster. You got to have one of those components for me to make this roster. That's what I'm going to be looking for. But again, a lot of competition, and I love competition because it's going to bring only the best out of that wide receiver.
I would just say Steve Tasker made the Pro Bowl with Andre Reed and James Lofton in the locker room, and Don Beebe. So don't rule yourself out, man. Andy, I'm pulling for you, bro.
Let's go, Andy. Show us something. All right, let's go on to the tight end group. A tight end group is a very and I'm going to start with what I believe right now is the Buffalo Bills' number 1 target this year, Dalton Kincaid. Yes, you say it. He is starter at tight end. It to me, it's not even a competition. Yes, Dawson Knox had a contract the year before, but I believe unless Kincaid gets hurt or something in training camp, which I don't wish on to happen to no one.
Please don't.
But I believe he's the number 1 target coming into the Buffalo Bills this year. What's your thoughts on that?
Absolutely. Dalton Kincaid, ESPN already has this guy ranked as the number 5 tight end in football. I mean, this dude definitely came in the league last year, and he did his job. Dawson Knox, huge contract we gave him, got hurt. Dalton Kincaid got first-round pick last year, plugged right in, did exactly what he was supposed to do, and he was so awesome. Dude, he's big enough to where he can block, and he's fast enough to where he can separate from linebackers, and he has all the tools. Yeah, a couple of drop passes early on, but this kid had all the tools, and he did a great job at the end of the streets and stretching in for from Dawson Knox, and he actually made it his own. Oh, you know what we didn't do? Speaking of tight ends, congratulations to Dawson Knox on getting married. We forgot to say that. Congratulations, Dawson Knox. We saw the wedding photos. Congratulations to you and your new wife. Congratulations coming from Buffalo against the world in Buffalo. So congratulations, Dawson Knox. But as far as on the field, I'm sorry, it's Dalton Kincaid's show. It's his show. He's our number 1 target. He's earned it. That's one guy could say, you can say, oh, it's nepotism or anything. No, this kid actually earned it. He did exactly what he was supposed to do last year. So shout out to him.
And this is what I really, really like. Playing high school ball, no one was ever safe playing for Max because when we played championship football at McKinley. So when I see coaches saying that no one is really safe with the exception of Josh Allen on this team, I'm amped about that. I'm amped. And Dalton Kincaid has really stepped in. I mean, look, Dawson Knox got a contract the year before, bro.
Yeah.
And, it shows that this organization is not focused on the money. Absolutely. This organization is focused on winning a Super Bowl. And that's what I
Absolutely.
wanted to see from our GM. That's what I want to see from our coach. That's the mindset that we have to embrace going forward. We also, with the exception of Dawson Knox, we know that he's got a season to really show something. They want to do a lot of that 12 personnel that Joe Brady wants to institute.
Yeah.
Okay. We know the 2 tight end set is going to be something that they want to institute this year.
Absolutely.
Now, Dawson Knox, we need a resurrection season from you, brother.
I mean, he really wasn't bad. When he was on the field, he was definitely productive. I mean, he was just not on the field that much. But every time he was in, he was catching touchdowns, whether it was a short one, a long one. And don't forget, he knocks people on their behinds when he blocks in there. But he just was off the field too much because of that wrist injury he was dealing with last year. But when he was on the field, he was definitely productive. It's just, I mean, let's just be honest. We drafted Dalton Kincaid because he was the best player available at the time. Dallas was going to draft him. We jumped them just to say, no, we want him on our team. So shout out to Bean for doing that. But Dawson is definitely, he can handle his own as a tight end. I love the 2 tight end sets. We can have a similar to Gronk and the other tight end, rest in peace, that was on the team that got them to a Super Bowl. They didn't win it, but another tight end that was on that team around that time who went to Florida and who is no longer with us. You know his name. Let's just go with that.
Yeah.
But the fuck is double tight end set. Yes.
Yep. So Zach Davison, he's another 25-year-old. I like his size. Obviously, don't know much about him and how much he has produced. Trey McKinney, and of course Morris. Like Quentin Morris, I really like him. I think he's got a nice balance of blocking and catching out of the backfield. I think he's that 3rd tight end. I think he's the lock at the 3rd tight end. You could kind of flex him in the backfield as well if you need to. Mm-hmm. So I think, you're probably only going to keep 3 unless, again.
I mean, you want to keep 3. I mean, you got Quentin Morris is kind of that wing back sort of, fullback, hybrid, lead blocker, unbalanced line sort of guy. But don't forget, he can catch touchdowns too. But yeah, unless he just completely does a fall off in training camp this year, or one of those newer tight ends that you mentioned steps up this year, I don't see Quentin Morris getting off of this team. I mean, he's kind of older, but he does a lot. He's like a socket wrench. He does everything.
Yeah, definitely. Now let's jump to the offensive line, Cousin Brad. I really, really like Graham Pran.
Oh, yeah.
Center. I believe he's probably going to play left guard, if I'm not mistaken. Right or left guard?
Yeah, I think he's going left. He's left guard. Because Osiris Torrance is the right guard.
Correct.
All right.
So I like him. I like this guy. I think he only allowed 1 sack.
Yeah.
I think he only had 3 sacks in his entire college career.
Right.
I mean, he's a bit undersized. I think he's about 298.
Right.
But I really like his tenacity. I really like this guy's tenacity. I can see this guy being a year 1 starter. So what do you think? What's your thoughts on Graham Pran?
I like what he brings to the table. I mean, yeah, he's a younger guy, bit undersized, but I think under the tutelage of those veteran offensive line, who we had the same line, we're one of the only offensive line last year to have all 5 guys start each game, the same game. So I think under that tutelage, I mean, let's be real. Yeah, you're young, but you don't want to be the guy that gets Josh Allen killed. You don't want to be that guy. So it's a lot of motivation coming behind him. I think he'll rise to the occasion. Yes, he can possibly be a day 1 starter. I think he's got all the tools. Definitely got all the tools. A little undersized, but it does have the ability to help with the offensive line as far as the passing game goes. Don't know how he's going to do as far as the run game. We really will have to see. But I like him in the passing situations. I do like him when it comes to that.
He is on the Bills lineup as 6'4", 310. He came in the draft as
he's not 310 with pads on.
That's what it is. He's listed as 310 on the site. So look, I'm hoping that he's that because this is a big boy league here, and we have some big boys that we play against, especially in our division. So, but he's a guy that I'm very excited about in the offensive line. You mentioned that a lot of these guys on the roster, we're just missing Mitch Morris that started from last year. So we retained 4 out of the 5 guys on this roster from last year. And the offensive line play last year was very impressive. I think it was the best that it had been since the Josh Allen era.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
it can only get better.
Absolutely. I agree with you 1,000% on it. This was the best offensive line I have seen in a long time. We have dealt with some offensive linemen in the past. This was the first, I would say, the best cohesive unit as far as offensive line I've seen with the Bills in a long time. They were all together. Not a lot of holding penalties. That was so annoying, so they definitely cleaned that up. Not a lot of, they kept Josh Allen clean. He definitely did his own thing. He got to clear the pocket, but this was a good offensive line last year, and I hope it just continues on into this season. So, absolutely.
Top five offensive line last year.
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
Argument there, Scott. I think this offensive line is only going to get better because it got younger.
Yeah. And they were hammering people, too. They were throwing people around last season.
And
it was –
Mitch Morris has been dealing with a lot of injuries over the years. He was one of my favorite Buffalo Bills over the past few years, but keep it real here. You got to get younger, and this is something that Brandon Beane did. And I'm very happy that we had to have that overhaul to make it happen. I mean, it hurt our hearts. We saw a lot of guys go, but the reality is this is all part of the game. Let's go to the backfield, Cousin Brad.
Woo! I've been waiting for this.
This is going to be very interesting when it comes to training camp. There's a lot of guys that you like, and let's just talk about one in particular. We know about James Cook, but let's talk about some of these underdog guys.
So we're going to skip James Cook. Got it.
We're going to come back to James Cook. We are expecting James Cook to have a big leap year. Let's talk about Ray Davis. Ray Davis.
All day Ray.
Out of Kentucky, 5'8", 220, physical back. Kind of reminds me, and he's wearing this guy's number. He kind of has that Fred Jackson mentality a little bit. What's your thoughts on Ray Davis? His story, great story. Really like this kid. I think he's a downhill runner. Would have liked if we would have got a bigger guy, a little bit taller for the goal line purposes. But I believe he was an absolute steal where we got him at. So what's your thoughts on Ray Davis?
All day Ray Davis. I am definitely looking forward to seeing what this kid can bring to the table. Definitely going to come in and spell James Cook. The story, if you don't know about it, is phenomenal of how this man made it from, literally started from the bottom. Now we're here. This dude is straight up hungry, ready to go, savage, can definitely downhill run. And when he's not one of those cut, juke type of guys. He's one cut and go. He's a one cut go guy. So he sees a hole, he sees a crease. You better tackle him immediately. And let's not forget who he's going up against in that backfield. Familiar name, Hall of Fame name, guy coming out of the U. We are talking about Frank Gore Jr., who I am pulling for in training camp. Frank Gore Jr., what can I say about this dude? Your dad played for the team. Your dad played with Josh Allen. Your dad's a Hall of Famer. Yes, we expect that out of you too. So, yes, Frank Gore Jr., looking forward to him. What are your thoughts on him?
Man, I really like this kid. Another, he's got the speed. He plays, even though he's 195, he plays like he's 225.
Yes.
He plays very physical football. And this is what we wanted to see because James Cook is kind of that one-cut, juke style speed guy, right? But Frank Gore, not only is he physical for his size, he also has hands out of the backfield.
Yes.
This is what ever since Terminator, bro, we have loved dual threat running backs. Running back can catch out of the backfield and run hard. So this is what Frank Gore Jr. is. I heard that he's already shown some impressions, and good impression right in rookie minicamp. Look forward to seeping that going because it's going to be a lot of competition. And that leads me to Ty Johnson, who had a really good season for the Buffalo Bills last year. And you're kind of thinking, Cousin Brad, that because Ty Johnson was able to get Leonard Fournette out of Buffalo and take that number 2 spot and take reps from a lot of the other guys that were on Latavius Murray. Where does he line up in all of this? Now that you got Ray Davis, this fresh legs, and you also got Frank Gore. Ty Johnson is only 26 years old. He played very well for this team down the stretch in that playoff run last year.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on him, man? I'm actually excited to have him come back.
Well, I mean, yeah, we're definitely excited to have him back. But to me, it's like if I'm him, my mentality is, look, I earned my spot. If one of you young guys want to come in, you're gonna have to take it. They're going to have to take it. Obviously, not going to be number one starter because James Cook is the RB1. But as far as the RB2, one of you guys take my spot. They had Leonard Fournette in here last year. Lenny Fournette, you love Leonard Fournette, Super Bowl winning player. I took his spot. So take my spot if you guys want it. So I think it's going to be real competition with him, All Day Ray, and Frank Gore Jr. in that backfield. But I mean, his mentality should be, look, you better than me? Prove it. Prove you better than me. Take my spot.
And that is going to be very interesting to watch in that backfield. I think the Buffalo Bills are going to possibly keep 3.
Yeah.
I don't see the Bills keeping 4. You got Ray Davis on this team. You got Frank Gore Jr. and you got Ty Johnson. And, of course, James Cook is your leading dark horse. So is the leading horse of the running back. It's going to be a tough decision.
No, let's not rule injuries happen. Injuries happen. Just because you're a running back does not mean you are guaranteed on its team. Injuries happen. Players get tired. Players get hurt. So, I mean, I like that they're building up that running back position. Let's get Josh some rest. Let's not let him run all over the place. Let's get a bunch of guys in here that can take the ball from him and run it. Get that 6 yards. Get that 7 yards. Get that 4 yards. Let's do that. Let's let James Cook catch out the backfield and do his work. So, absolutely.
So who are you rooting for? Who are you rooting for out of that running back camp? Because you're only going to have 3 more than likely. You're only going to have 3. Who are you rooting for besides, obviously we know what James Cook is going to be the starter, barring any injuries.
I love All Day Ray, but I am rooting for Frank Gore Jr. Love All Day Ray. I think All Day Ray is going to – I think he's a lock at 2. But as far as the 3rd spot, I love Frank Gore Jr. to get that spot.
Letting Ty Johnson walk.
Yes.
Despite him being a good special teams player as well, I mean, it's going to be tough. And this is guys who has NFL experience. True. I'm gonna have to say, Frank Gore Jr. goes to the practice squad unless he just has a dynamic camp.
Have you seen him play?
I mean, this guy, Ty Johnson, has got NFL reps.
I'm not taking anything away from him.
Not ignore that. You can't. And he's had playoff experience too with this team. Yeah. Basically, he signed off the street. So I think he's proven himself to be on this roster. And I think he's going to, like, Frank Gore Jr. is really going to have to push him off this team.
Absolutely. I don't want to be this guy, but at halftime in the Miami game, Josh Allen threw you the ball. You were 1 yard away, and you couldn't get in. Just throwing it out there. That I mean, I'm just speaking facts. Wow. Josh Allen threw you the ball. You were 1 yard outside the touchdown, and you didn't get in. Just throwing it out there. That's gonna be. We won the game. Okay, we won the game. If we would have lost that game,
we won the game. He gets a clean slate.
yeah. We would have lost that game. We wouldn't even be talking about you right now.
Exactly.
But, hey. I'm rooting. You asked me who I'm rooting for. I'm rooting for.
What Al Davis say? Just win, baby.
Yeah.
All is forgiven. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's a shout out to our kicker. We ain't forgot, bro. Man. We ain't forgot. Bro.
So at this time, right now, I want you to go to the Built-in Buffalo platform on YouTube, and I want you to subscribe. Again, we are now with the Monster Energy as the official energy partner of the Built-in Buffalo platform. So go subscribe right now.
Drink it.
All right. So Bills Mafia roll call. We want to hear where you guys are at. Where are you watching from? We know we have Bills fans all over the entire world.
Where you
We want
at?
to see where you at. Where are you?
Where you at? Where you at? Where the reach at? How far is the reach? Let us know. How far is the reach? We love it. 585 in the building. We love you. Thank you, Scott. We love you. Well, where are you at? How far is built in Buffalo? Buffalo against the world. How far is the reach? Where are you watching from? Buffalo, New York. Y'all always in the building. And I just want to give I want to just shout this out while we're doing this. I was out there. I took my son out there for a mini Mafia week. And I saw the locker room. We played on the field, and I took a look at the new stadium. I'm like, oh, my God, this thing is going to be amazing. This stadium is going to be amazing. Like, oh, my goodness gracious. Like, and I did meet Fred Jackson. So shout out to Fred Jackson. Shout out to him.
I'm looking forward. When is it? 2027?
2026. 2026. They be completion. Woo. Woo.
Lackawanna in the building.
Lackawanna in the building. Shout out to you, Ray. Thank you very much for joining us. But where you at? How far is the reach? We got Bills fans from Australia, from Rio. We know you out there. Where you watching from?
Don't be shy. Yeah, so it's definitely going to be a really exciting season. Cousin Brad, I want to talk a little bit about the defense. We talked a lot about the offense. Okay. What's your thoughts on this defense? Obviously, we got bigger on the defensive line. Yeah. Some names that are no longer with us from the secondary: Micah Hyde, Jordan Poyer, and we've gotten younger at that aspect as well. What's your thoughts on the secondary? Let's start right there with the secondary because Sean McDermott, he was in the secondary and he specializes in the secondary defense.
Okay.
What's your thoughts on Cole Bishop?
I like Cole Bishop. I like him more as a strong safety type of player because this man, Cole Bishop can tackle a truck. This dude can tackle a truck. He is all over the field. Not the best when it comes to covering guys, but making the tackle in those trenches and those second and sixes and those second and eights and those third and fours. If I had to take a guy to make the tackle on that play, Cole Bishop is the guy I definitely want on the field. As far as coverage goes, did tend to get beat a lot as far as coverage. I don't want to say a lot. Did tend to get beat, but he's more of a tackling type of guy. So, but I like him. I like him back there. I'm excited to see what he can do.
Yeah, I like him too as well. I think he's a downhill tackler. I definitely want to see him in the box a lot. I definitely want to see him blitzing on the ball.
Definitely.
And I think he does have ball skills. I think he does have some pretty decent ball skills. I mean, he's not Micah Hyde or Jordan Poyer when it comes to the ball skills. He's not that. Not yet. But I do believe, like you mentioned, he is a very sound tackler, very instinctive player. I think he's another guy that I think will gain Sean McDermott's trust and possibly be a year one starter. I believe he has the ability.
Possibly. See, what I'm looking for out of him, though, and yes, this is his rookie year, I don't want him to lose his confidence. This dude can be the captain of the defense. He's that type of player. He has that aura about him to where he can be the captain of the secondary. And he can wheel those guys around, tell them to where you go, make sure they're communicating out there in the defensive backfield. He has that capability. I just, if he misses a play, it's going to happen. You're a rookie. They're gonna point you out, and they're going to target you. But, you're going to make plays on this team to where you can be that leader. So I'm looking forward to just don't lose your confidence. That's the only thing I can say. Don't lose your confidence out there if you miss a play. We have more than faith in you. And you're absolutely right. He can be a day one starter. I think Sean McDermott, we got a steal with this pick.
Absolutely. Mike Edwards is also, a Super Bowl winner. He won 2 Super Bowls. He won one with Tom Brady, and he won another one with Patrick Mahomes last year. Yeah. Mike Edwards, he's been in the league for a while. He's got the skill set. This guy is 28 years old. He's about 205. He doesn't have the same height as Cole Bishop, but he's an instinctive player.
Right.
I believe he picked off Josh Allen. So
Did.
this guy, he's really got the experience that you want. And
Mhm.
we talked about last year, cousin Brad, that on the defense particularly and on the offense, we were lacking some Super Bowl contending players. That's not the case this year, cuz. I mean, we did have some guys that had been in Super Bowls before and won some Super Bowls before that are no longer on this roster. But now
Mhm.
you're adding to that. Mike Edwards has won two with two of the greatest quarterbacks of all time.
Right.
I think he's going to bring that element to this locker room and that championship pedigree that we've been talking about that this defense needs, especially in the secondary.
You would hope so. I mean, that's the plan. You will hope so. He can bring some of that leadership and bring some of that championship pedigree to this secondary. I like Edwards. He's not more of a ball hawk safety. He doesn't go for the pick. He's more of a knock it down type of guy. He doesn't get beat often. Solid tackler, but I mean, dude's won 2 Super Bowls. Why not bring a guy in with that type of experience for big games down the line? We're going to need that. We're going to need that experience for those December games and those late December games. We're going to need that veteran leadership. So absolutely bring him in. So Mike Edwards, if you want to put him maybe at the free spot or, groom Bishop under him, let that knowledge tutor the young guy. But I think he was definitely a good pickup. Definitely a solid pickup.
Absolutely. I look forward to seeing that boost. Look, Kyrie Elam. He's a guy we talked a lot about last year. We both thought that he probably should have played safety, but he had a good mini camp so far. We'll see when the pads get on if he can keep it up. I'm really rooting for this kid because he has all the measurables. He has the size, he has the speed. He's a great press corner, which probably he will struggle with this defense because we play more zone. This is a guy I'm really rooting for in this area. I don't see him as a starter with Benford coming back. And Rasul Douglas obviously is the lock number one, but I'm still rooting for him to be on this roster. What's your thoughts?
You talk about make or break years. This is your make or break year. We drafted you first round out of Florida. We had high expectations, and I think it's simply the Nambi Asamoah syndrome, where you were great at Florida because you fit that type of scheme that they were playing down there, and you got to the big leagues, and the scheme didn't work. You let a dude from Villanova come in and take his spot, which Christian Bedford was absolutely phenomenal. He's done exactly what he was drafted for. He did his job. You're not taking the spot away from Rasul Douglas, who played absolutely phenomenal. So you talk about a make or break season. We're not going to put you at the nickel because Taron Johnson, he's already got that spot locked up. So this is your make or break year. You were a first round pick. We drafted you out of Florida for a reason. Either show up or show out, bro. That's my advice for Kyrie Elam.
Yep, he's going to be someone my eyes are on in training camp this season. Bernard, let's talk about the linebackers. Terrell Bernard, a fantastic season here before the injury. Back, got my man, the Italian stallion, Matt Milano, coming back. He's looking
love it.
Love it. Excited about this linebacker group. We signed Nicholas Marlowe from the Philadelphia Eagles. Yeah. He's coming back. Balin Spector has been dealing with injuries for the past few years, but he came on.
He did his best. I respect it. He did his best. He tried.
And then we got Edifan Olufashilo.
Woo! Say that again. Do that again.
Edifan Olufashilo.
Gold star for Kulu.
He is someone I'm very excited about as a rookie. Another guy that's very tenacious. He has those ball skills because Sean McDermott and Brandon Beane, they really like those players that are versatile. Mm-hmm. And Yolo, man, he's got that versatility to his game. And this guy can play special teams. I'm telling you, when it comes down to this roster, special teams
it's huge.
Is going to be huge to making this roster.
Definitely.
And Olu definitely, Yulo has that. So what's your thoughts on my man Yulo?
I like that you just pronounced his name twice without a problem. Like, shout out to you. Shout out to you. But yeah, you're absolutely right. He has all the intangibles, all the ball skills, and he can fill in on special teams. I like him on special teams. Special teams is going to be a crucial part of this team this year. We're going to have to pin a lot of guys in punt coverage. We're going to have to prevent a lot of run backs. We're going to have to do a lot of stuff on that special team side that's going to be very important this year with the new kickoff rule. People forgot about that. The new kickoff rule, we're going to need some guys in special end. We're going to have to get guys on the ground on the kickoffs with this new rule. So I think he's definitely a guy. I can't pronounce his last name. You can. But he's going to be a guy that I think will definitely be important to this team on special teams. Definitely.
Just say Ulo.
Ulo.
You don't want to butcher the man's name like that.
I don't. He's big.
The announcer did when he got drafted.
I don't want to be that guy. He's big, man. He might, nah. I don't want that energy, bro.
and here's a guy that we were really excited about coming into last year, going into his second year, Dorian Williams. Another guy that they kind of hoped would come in and do. I don't even want to say spell Tremaine Edmonds, but they were hoping they drafted him kind of in that place. But he didn't really show much last year. What's your thoughts on Dorian Williams? I don't know about him. To be honest, I think he's got a lot to prove to make this roster.
Very good in a run game. When it was running plays, he was everywhere on that field. Dorian Williams, when it was a run play on that Miami game and in the Kansas City game, when he got in and when they tried to run the ball, he was literally all over the place. Passing plays, he gets lost. He gets caught in a wash and he gets lost. So I think if he tightens that up, on those 3rd and 4s and those 2nd and 3s, plays like that, where we can just pin his ear back and go get somebody and tackle him, absolutely. But as far as the passing game, I think Matt Milano and Terrell Bernard are the guys we want on the field, for real.
It's going to be interesting. There's somebody, Cousin Brad, that we skipped over in the offensive line, and that's Leo Collins. We got him. He's coming off veteran offensive lineman. This is going to be interesting to see where he fits in. What's your thoughts on Collins? I know he had a few years. He got banged up over there in Cincinnati, but he had some promise before that. He's a veteran. He's 30 years old. What's your thoughts on Collins?
I mean, definitely a guy that you want to have on your team for depth at the offensive line position. And he's a guy that can actually start, week 1. So, I mean, having Collins on your team only improves the offensive line. Yeah, you got some guys we talked about that are new, but plugging in a veteran like Collins, and he's just going to come in, lunch pail, do his job, and go home. And he had a lot of success in Cincinnati. And I think coming over here would be perfect. It'd be perfect to protect Josh Allen, to protect Joe Burrow. So, absolutely. Let's bring him in. Lunch pail dude comes in early, leaves on time. I like him. Bring him in.
And this is a guy who says, I'm ready to dominate. He said, I'm back, healthy, and ready to dominate. That's the words I like to hear.
Now, with the problem with Collins, though, the holding penalties. Oh, man. The holding penalties were killing the Bengals, and when he was in Washington too. Yeah, he was in Washington too, killing both of those teams. The holding penalties. Hopefully, he can just clean that up, and he'll fit right in. But the holding penalties for Collins is definitely something you want to look at.
It's interesting that the Bills have not identified what part of the offensive line he'll be playing on. Possibly be a flex tackle guard. We don't know just yet. We'll just have to wait and see how McDonough. So let's get back to the defensive line real quick. The defensive line, most of the guys, our starters, are coming back. Von Miller, redemption season for him. He said he should not have played last year, Cousin Brad. He said he was not healthy enough to be playing ball. Again, make or break season.
Yeah.
A lot of money.
Yeah.
Make or break season at the defensive end position. What's your thoughts on him?
Just get one sack and let's go from there. Just get one. Just start off with one. Give me one sack and let's build off of that. Like, we paid you a lot of money. Give me one sack and let's build from there. I'm not going to say this is your make or break season because, dude, you're a Hall of Famer. You're a Super Bowl champion. We know why we brought you here. We know exactly why we brought you here. Yeah, maybe you shouldn't have played last year, but we brought you here to get sacks. Get one, and let's build off of that. That's my advice for Von Miller. Get one sack to start out. Let's build off of that. How many can you grab up by at least week 8 before it's time to say, okay, you're great, but time marches on. Sorry, had to say it.
We extended AJ. He's another one that's on my watch. He had a really big season. He had a big interception. I think he had 2 of them.
Yeah.
He really stepped it up last year, was getting to the back, was getting a lot of pressures, got a contract out of it. Looking forward to seeing AJ Epinesa. But this guy, Gregory Rousseau.
Yeah, group, baby.
6.
The tree.
This is a contract year for Rousseau.
Yeah.
Is going to be very interesting. He has not had a double-digit sack season yet.
Came close.
What's your thoughts on him?
I can't wait. I cannot wait to see what Groot does this year. Groot, the tree, my man Stretch on the offensive line. Yeah, he doesn't get as many sacks, but this dude causes a problem for tackles on the offensive line. This dude comes in killing it. I think he's going to have a great season this year. And I don't know if we're going to pay this man. We're going to have money. We're going to have money at the end of the year. So whatever we got to do to keep this man here, let's keep him here. Because Groot, big season coming out of him. I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely. Another guy that I really like is Javon Solomon, the rookie. A really good defensive end. I think he's going to kind of replace Shaq Lawson. This guy, he's got the intangibles. He bends that corner. He uses his leverage very well at the defensive end position. He quarterback, and he also can tackle pretty well.
Yeah.
So this guy, I think he's going to be someone that's really going to sneak and get a lot of reps out of that defensive line this year. So I'm going to Solomon as well this year as he replaces Lawson.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and you got to remember the Bills don't have a base defensive line. It's all kind of situational, and they kind of do a rotating defensive line. They use plug a lot of guys in based off the situation. So I think this guy will fit right in. I think he'll fit right in, pin his ears back, and go get the quarterback. And you're absolutely right. He can tackle the truck. Dude can make those interior plays where we miss a lot of those guys at the first level. So absolutely, definitely plug him in and see what he can do.
Absolutely, cousin. It's going to be really exciting to see these young players and how they plug in to this system because, again, there's high expectations for the Buffalo Bills, and we're going to just have to wait and see how McDermott uses these guys in their first year. At this time, right now, we got a special segment, as we always do, and prepare yourself for the Bills Mafia tribute.
The party starts in 3, 2, 1.
All right, this week's Bills Mafia trivia was created by none other than cousin Brad over here, and this is a real good one. When we talked about it last night, me and cousin Brad was like, okay, this is something that Bills fans are going to have to really think about. No Google. Y'all know the rules.
Put your phones down unless you're watching us on the phone.
No Google. So
don't
just
switch the app. Don't click off screen to go Google it. This is strictly off your knowledge of Buffalo Bills football. If you're a fan, the way y'all say y'all are.
And here we go. Bills Mafia trivia. Who are the only 2 players to lead the league in receiving yards in 2 different decades? Cousin Brad, what is it? Who was one? Where did one of these players play for?
Ironically, technically, they both played. Technically, okay, one of them played for the 49ers and Oakland.
Stop there.
Okay.
Stop there. Okay, so Bills Mafia, tell us, who were the only 2 players to lead the league in receiving yards in 2 different decades? One of them was a 49er. Come on, Bills Mafia.
I mean, come on, man. This is kind of like, I mean, if one's a 49er.
No. Don't you say another word.
All right.
You just be quiet right there.
I'm just going to stop.
Come on now. 2 players. Give us 2. Give Give us two. Okay, we got an answer here. Joey Hatch those. Terrell Owens and Andre Reed.
Ooh, good guess. Good guess. That's a good guess.
That's a good guess.
Close. Close. Honestly, I didn't even think about T.O. when we talk about this. That's a good guess, though. That's a great guess. Great guess. Could be.
Great guess. Great guess.
Could be.
That's not the answer. And
that's not the answer. That's not the answer. Man, remember
right,
when Terrell Owens did? Remember when he did play for the 49ers, though? Holy crap. People forget about that.
It can really be between two receivers, okay?
Yeah.
So when it comes down to...
It's not J.J. Stokes. It's not J.J. Stokes. Remember him? Remember? There we go. Now Scott we're getting Baker somewhere. Scott
has got one of them.
He's got one of them.
Is down. The all-time leading receiver, Jerry Rice. Scott Banker has got one. Who was the other one? This one is going to blow your mind because a lot of you guys forgot about this guy.
And he was a Buffalo Bill.
He was a Buffalo Bill.
And this did happen. This did happen.
2 different decades. Come on, give it to us. Come on, somebody give it to us.
Come on, man. I know this guy.
Good one, Cousin Brad, because
I know this guy.
It really made me think. And a lot of guys mostly are going to say,
"We can't give the answer."
Finally, the answer has come.
Hey, there you go.
There you go. Joey and the 12
Jerry Rice
family. Yeah. James Lofton.
Yes.
And here's what people don't understand. We had a couple answers here. We had Stevie out there. No, Stevie didn't play 2 decades.
He did.
And a lot of people would have said Andre Reed, but Andre Reed did not lead the league in receiving in his career.
He did not.
So, unfortunately, as great as Andre Reed was, he never led the league. Eric Moles led the league before.
He did.
And James Lofton did it. He did it in the 90s. He also did it in the 80s.
80s, yes. James Lofton with the crazy crustache. He still got it. Like, he still got the crustache up here. Like, he still got the mean crustache and the high top fade. Shout out to James Lofton, man. Absolutely awesome. Forgot about receiver. Dude was a Hall of Famer. Dude was straight up awesome. And yeah, him and Jerry Rice, only 2 players to lead the league in receiving in 2 different decades. Did it in the 80s, did it in the 90s, because James Lofton was that dude.
Here's a fun fact. Cousin Brad, here's a fun fact about James Lofton. James Lofton in 1993 was the all-time leading receiver in receptions and yards in 1993.
Read that again. Read that again. Read that again. Read that again for them.
In 1993, James Lofton was the all-time receiver in your receptions and yards.
Mm-hmm.
People don't know that. Mm-hmm. But that was at that time. That has since been passed.
Absolutely.
Obviously, Jerry Rice and many others have passed that now. But in the year 1993, James Lofton was the all-time leading receiver in receiving yards and receptions. So shout out to Big Play James.
Absolutely, man. And the crustache and the high top fade. Love it. Love it. And my dad met him in person, too. Shout out to him.
Great guy. Great doing big things now, commentating. You know, shout out keeping Bills Mafia alive when he always does the Bills games. I'm always excited to see him, Tasker, or anybody else that has played for the Buffalo Bills or respects and loves the Buffalo Bills as well. And James is definitely one of those guys. Cousin Brad, we're at the end of our segment here, but I got a question for you. We have guys in Bills history that possibly,
a lot of them,
may have played in the wrong era.
Yeah.
And this is something that we discussed last night.
Yeah.
And I want to hear from you fans as well. What Buffalo Bill player that you know from history played in the wrong era?
And when we mean era, we mean era like the Juice era, the Electric Company era, the Rock Pile era, the 90s golden years era, the drought era, the Sean McDermott era. That's what we mean by era.
Mm-hmm.
Which guys played in the wrong era? And immediately, two guys come to mind, and one is Doug Flutie playing in this era, which would be straight up awesome if he did play in this era, because Doug Flutie was just straight up magical. Two is Drew Bledsoe. People forget, man, Drew Bledsoe was that guy. Like before Tom Brady took his career and just pretty much took everything from him, he did win a Super Bowl technically. He won a Super Bowl. He got him there. Tom Brady got hurt. Remember in that Steelers game? Drew got him to the championship. And we don't forget that. We don't forget Drew Bledsoe playing in this league with the passing. You can't even touch receivers now. Dude was that guy. Shout out to Drew Bledsoe, man. And he made a Super Bowl before Tom Brady was even thought about. Remember in 95? Remember that? Lost to Brett Favre?
What era are you putting him in? If you
I'm putting him in.
So where you going?
So he's coming out of the drought era, and I'm putting him in the Josh Allen era.
Are you serious?
I don't know. He's not gonna be the starter, but I mean, if he played in this era, he would shine. You can't even breathe on receivers now, and you can't even touch quarterbacks anymore. So we don't have to worry about him getting sacked. We're good. And Doug Flutie, good luck catching him. Come on, man.
How do you mention two different style quarterbacks?
What?
Completely different style. You mentioned Doug Flutie,
Yeah,
which I completely agree with you. Doug Flutie played in this era. But I'm sorry, the statue.
Yeah.
Nah, bro.
Okay. So what is the difference between Drew Bledsoe and Herbert for the Chargers? What's the difference? Give me the difference.
Herbert's way more mobile than Drew Bledsoe.
No, he's not.
He's way more mobile than Drew Bledsoe, bro.
Come on, I think
he's way more mobile than Drew Bledsoe, bro.
But Drew, he can't run. He can't run, but he can throw that ball. He can sling that ball. He can sling that down the field, bro. Come on, let's not take away Drew Bledsoe. Exactly.
That rock, but I don't know.
Come on, man.
Let's hear from the fans here. Scott Banker says molds in the era would be insane. Yes.
Ooh, yes.
That's his cousin Brad's favorite.
Yes.
Of all time. Ooh. He's my number 2. DeAndre Reed's my number 1. But
could you imagine having him in the Super Bowls? Oh,
can you imagine Eric Molds playing
in the Super Bowls?
Bro? Can you imagine he played with Josh Allen with his physicality, his tenacity, his stiff arms, his ability to separate? I mean, there's not receivers that had his size and strength and speed.
Exactly. Can you imagine him Josh Allen throwing him a screen and letting the corner trying to tackle him? Good luck with that. That's not happening. Like, this dude used to run over Lawyer Malloy. Like, he used to make him look bad, bro. Like, dude, Eric Mose was a problem. You remember him playing with Josh Allen? Woo!
Yeah.
Woo!
That's an interesting take. Like, Jim Kelly, I think Jim Kelly was perfect for his era. I'm sorry.
And last one, I would say Bruce Smith playing in this era. Yikes. He would straight up feast on quarterbacks. He would literally eat people. He would eat quarterbacks like for dinner. Like Russell Wilson, Kyler Murray, dude, Kyler Murray and Baker Mayfield, like Bruce will swallow them dudes, bro. I mean, think about it. Aaron Donald, who just retired, shout out to him. Like Bruce Smith on a defense, stop it. Who's stopping him? Nobody.
Bro, they used to talk about how Bruce Smith used to wear them Stairmasters out. Remember our encounter with Bruce Smith? Let's not go at the show.
I wasn't gonna talk about it, but yeah. Let's just say it was. Let's just say, hey, it was a fair one. If y'all got into it, it was a fair one.
Favre, what do you think? I don't know, man. I don't even want to talk about Brett Favre right now.
Lost to Greet Favre's Packers. I mean, yeah, Drew Bledsoe lost. I mean, yeah, the Packers team was pretty loaded. I ain't gonna lie, they were loaded. They were loaded. Dorsey Levens and Edgar Bennett, Desmond Howard, Antonio Freeman. Like that team was loaded. That team was loaded.
You got Samuel Johnson.
Oh, good job.
Lynch mob. I mean, I think Lynch was perfect for his era. I mean, honestly. I mean, you can put Lynch really in any era. You
really can. You really can put him literally anywhere. Could you imagine Thurman Thomas playing in this era? Woo!
Joey mentioned Thurman and Bruce as well. I mean,
Yeah.
Thurman, with his ability to, run out of the backfield, catch out of the backfield, block. I mean, he would be amazing in this league today. You don't see too many running backs with that skill set, that combination skill set. I mean, look how Thurman was catching ball on his head, like diving for passes, and Thurman was a
run.
skilled. And here's what people forget: this guy led the NFL 4 straight seasons.
And he was MVP as a running back in the 90s.
1991 MVP, and
that's almost unheard of.
4 straight 2,000 yards combined seasons.
Yeah.
I think LaDainian's the only one to do that besides Thurman.
I think, LT and I think Adrian Peterson. I think Adrian Peterson is the other one. Yeah. I'll give you my wild card. You ready for my wild card?
Go ahead.
Playing in this era, Daryl Talley. Could you imagine him?
Spider-Man.
Can you imagine with the Spider-Man sleeves? Could you imagine him on Twitter? Like, dude used to come to practice wearing a trench coat and his drawers and cowboy boots. Like, bro, he would be unstoppable, bro.
Yeah,
Daryl Talley.
Yeah, he would be. They would love him on social
media. Absolutely. I will. Imagine Daryl Talley playing in this era, just murdering people from that linebacker spot, and just like he had the toughness. Gosh, I want Daryl Talley on this team now.
He did.
In the slick back hair, the slick back, the jet black, like hanging out with the neck roll. Like, dude, can we get a Daryl Talley? Can we get another one?
He definitely had personality and swag. He definitely had.
That was terrifying, man.
And swag. All right, here's our final thought, Cousin Brad. I'm gonna give it to you on this one. Who is going to be the player that your eye is on? You only can choose one. Who is the player? And please leave this in the chat for our fans watching right now as we make our closing thoughts here. What is one player that you're going to be keeping your eye on in training camp this season?
Mine is going to be Keon Coleman. I want to see what the kids got. All the cameras is gone. All the, the good things you were doing on the interviews, all the microphones is gone. Let's see what you got, kid. Coming out of Florida State, played at Michigan State. Let's see what you got, number 0. First 0 in Bills history. Let's see what you got, bro. Love what you're doing off the field. Let's see what you got on it. So definitely Keon Coleman.
Mine is going to be Chase Claypool. I'm going to be really watching Chase Claypool. I'm really excited for him. Really redeem himself in the NFL to show that he can be that physical specimen, possibly to receiver, NFL roster. I think I like Coleman as well. He would probably be my second person that I'm going to be watching. I just kind of know how McDermott is with rookies, that he's not as big on that. So I'm really going to be excited to watch Claypool. Joey mentions Coleman, Davis, and Carter. Dwayne Carter. We ain't talked too much about Dwayne Carter. Carter is really another guy who's a bit undersized, but he plays with that tenacity, plays with leverage on the defensive line. They have him listed at defensive end. I'm interested to see if he's going to play defensive end. I think he's more of a defensive tackle in Sean McDermott's scheme. So I'll be looking to see what Dwayne Carter, Mr. Carter, is all about. Definitely excited about these 2 rookies, and hopefully they overachieve. Charla mentioned Claypool as well.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, man, it's going to be very interesting in a very hot season. We are 14 minutes over our time. Cousin Brad, that just means we having too much fun right here.
We are. Can we do the hater of the week? Hold on.
We did not do the hater.
We did not, but I'm going to just say this now. I'm watching the Giants offseason Hard Knocks. They literally have all of our personnel. Yeah. Like, the Giants have turned into the Bills 3 years ago. They got all of our guys. Like, every time they interview with somebody, it's always a guy, I came from Buffalo. We had a lot of success. Yes, you're welcome. You're welcome for us giving you a career.
But Sorry. You know what? They don't ever say what you just said. They are not us. They are us 10 years ago. We wasn't making the playoffs. They haven't even gotten to the playoffs.
They did.
They were going back in time. When?
They went to the playoffs 2 years ago.
Okay. Well, they digressed from that. How about
They
that?
have, and that's a hard division to win.
And they've been really being disrespectful trying to compare Daniel Jones to Patrick Mahomes. which
Yo,
I'm
come
going to
on,
get
bro.
into that nonsense with
Come
the
on,
Giants
bro.
right at this particular moment. But I want
Seriously.
to thank everyone for tuning in to Buffalo Against the World, all 300 of you tuning in on Facebook and the remaining tuning in on YouTube. Make sure you like, share, subscribe to the Built-in Buffalo platform. And also, make sure you stay tuned because we are now officially locked in with Monster Energy as the official partner of the Built-in Buffalo Energy team.
Drink
So,
it.
man, Cousin Brad, as we always do, we will be back next Monday and every Monday throughout the season, hopefully all the way to the Super Bowl. Make sure you
Definitely.
like, share, subscribe.
We win the Super Bowl. We ain't gonna be here that next Monday. I'm gonna be real. We ain't gonna be here. Just being honest. Just being honest.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we might be at the parade live,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Built Buffalo platform for sure.
Definitely.
But on that, this is Kulu and Cousin Brad. We are overtime, y'all. We had so much fun on our first show back for the season, and we look forward to seeing you guys with us every Monday, 7 p.m. One love, everybody.
Monster, drink it.